Hello, welcome everybody. This is the 38th annual Mun Cup. I'm here with a couple of pillars of the community here. Ron Mymko to my left, and we got Red Sangster to my right. And you know, the building here has been around for over 40 years, and we're going to see the end of that coming in just a few weeks. But before we get to that, when the building goes down, the memories will still last, and we got some memories to talk about right here. And with me to my right is Red Sangster. And Red, you got a lot to talk about. You've been here when this building was erected back in the 60s. Let's talk a little bit about that and what that was all about.
Well, the building was bought up in Bird, Manitoba for $1, and it was all moved down by rail. I was the one that hauled all the truckloads, 132 truckloads of steel and everything else that come down from Bird. We would work during the day, and at night we got 2 bits extra an hour for working overtime.
Now, Red, what's one of your fondest memories now that you got the building here, and some of your fondest memories? You were here as a, I know you worked for the rec department, and you had a son that went through hockey here. He coached here, being Jack. And some of your fondest memories. What's one of your best fondest memories? I know you had many. What's one of the best?
Well, one of them, when I started up the midget, we had a few kids that pretty good hockey players. We had about 40 kids of midget age, and we put a all-star team together, and we went over in 1962 it was. We went over to Snow Lake. We flew over to Snow Lake and beat Snow Lake out, and then we went to Verdun in the playoffs. And how we got to Verdun was we caught the train to Kamsack, Saskatchewan, and then Verdun picked us up by cars there. And we played 2 games in Verdun. We lost them both, but it was sure a great trip. We left here on a Friday morning and got back Monday night.
Wow, that sounds like quite a story. And I'll get back to you again, Red, but I'm going to swing it over to Ron Mymko. And Ron has played with the Thompson Hawks and has grandkids playing here in the Mun Cup. That's always an exciting time. And let's go back to your fondest memories here. And I know Red brought you in here many years ago, and you wanted to do something there, and maybe you want to do that now? You wanted to,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Back in January of 1971, I got a phone call when I was in Flin Flon, and was Red on the other end. He was whether I'd be interested in coming to play for the Intermediate AA Hawks, and I discussed it with my wife, and we made a decision to come. And Red, I want to personally thank you for making that phone call, because here we are. I don't know how many years now. It's been a long time, but I've been retired for 4 years because I was fortunate enough to work for Inco.
Now, some of your fondest memories here. Playing with the Hawks must have been great there. Ronnie, I remember we were talking earlier, and you said there was one there against War Road. Remember back in the day in the Cash League and that when you guys played? It was great hockey then. It's all gone now. It's nothing but a distant memory. But let's talk a little bit about the good old Hawk days.
Well, there's probably lots of them, but you know, I can remember I came in 71. We got in that Cash League, right, 72, 3 and 4, whatever it was. But we used to, believe it or not, we used to fly out Saturday morning. Red didn't like to fly, so he'd drive down to Winnipeg. But we'd fly out Saturday morning and come home Sunday night. Airfare was affordable in those days. Remember good old Transair? I don't know if you do or not, but that was the airline back in that day.
I'm too young.
No, and it was pretty fantastic to be able to do that, obviously. And every second weekend we were on the road, and well, on the road, we were in the air. It was kind of nice. Sure beats those 8-hour bus rides. Anyways, getting back to what you're at, what your question was. Yeah, there's lots of them.
No, we were talking about that goal there. You
yeah,
scored
Warroad was always our nemesis. We'd give them the best series of all, but we couldn't get out of Manitoba. They would often go on to win Canada, winning the West, and go on to beat the Eastern winner, and go undefeated. And they used to talk to us the following year like, you guys maybe you might have done it if we hadn't beaten you, because nobody gave them any real tough games along the way. But yeah, we finally beat Warroad. I don't recall the year now, but after losing to them, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in a row, frustrated. In fact, if I remember now, it was a best of 3. It was played here. We started on a Friday night. They flew in on a charter because Cal Marvin had the Bucks. They won game 1. I think it was 2-0. Our coach caught wind of the fact that they had checked out of the hotel for Saturday's game, and they were ready to, the plane was warming up at the airport. Well, guess what? I think we were down 2-0 going to the third, and we pulled that out 3-2. They had to check back into the hotel, and we went back and won game 3. And I can remember getting the tying goal. A guy named Marty Klotz took a wrist shot, come off the back of the plexiglass, bounced out front. I put a little deke on Boomer McClellan, who was now playing for Warroad. Found the bottom of the corner, that tied it 2-2, and then fed a pass to Ketchmar a little later in the period, and he scored to make it 3-2. Rammer got the insurance goal, and I can remember that, it was yesterday, and we finally beat him.
And that was over 30 years.
Oh, it's a while ago.
That was a long time ago.
I'll never forget that.
I'm going to swing it back to Red. That was a long-winded story, but it was a good one. Red, some other stories that you could share with us there, Red. I know you were involved as a rec organizer here, and like, as Ronnie said, you brought in a lot of people. Some of the great people. Ken Hankey was one. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And some of the other people that you brought in.
I brought in
Alex Sutherland was another.
Suds. I got him from Dauphin. I got Kenny from Bozeman.
Redmond. You got
Keith Redmond from Flin Flon. I got Terry Grindle from Yorkton. I got the goalie. He played 1 year with St. Boniface. He was a school teacher. Tommy Bend.
Tommy Bend.
Yeah, I brought him in. Oh, I brought in.
And you brought them in as ball players, but they were good athletes.
Yes, I knew when I was getting them, they were both ball players and hockey players.
Yeah, and your big legacy here is baseball.
That's
your
right.
biggest legacy, and the ball diamond with your name on it down there. That must have been a highlight of your career there and your life, having that ball diamond named after you, bringing in all those great people who end up being pillars of the community.
Yes.
And they have kids and grandkids that, as Ronnie alluded to, they're all here.
Yeah.
That must have been great.
Yes. That we had just as good a ball teams as we had hockey teams, and most of the boys played both the sports.
And the induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame down in Morden must have been a great moment for you.
Yes, very was. And out of the 32 boys that played for me, 29 of them got there.
Well, isn't that terrific? I
Yep.
mean, and minor ball was thriving. Not it's kind of took a little bit of a nosedive, but you're still in there trying to keep it going.
Yeah. We'll get it going again this year. And we got baseball. The senior baseball is picking up. We got 2 teams in town now.
We're working on that.
Jack is working on a league with Cross Lake and the team south of Ponton, the town
Grand Rapids.
Yeah,
they've got a team in there as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll swing back to Ronnie here. We're still on the memory trail here, Ronnie. And Ron, you've got a grandson in here. I know you're feverishly working with 2 of your grandchildren, and we have the provincial champions out there on the ice right now. How nice is that to watch that? You went through it with the Hawks. Now you're watching your grandkid playing this year in the Mund Cup. All that must be exciting.
It's sweet, yes. My wife and I have been on all the road trips. There's room on the bus, we go. So we were on all 5 road trips. So we know these kids pretty good, not just on the ice, but off the ice as well. But getting back to what you were just talking about earlier, you think about, I came here in '71. I played here for a lot of years. I got grandkids playing now, coached. My 2 granddaughters, I take them out skating too a couple times during the week. So I get on the blades a bit now, and you never forget how to skate. It's like riding a bike.
And baseball too, and softball. You were big in softball, Ron.
We played together for a few years. Red didn't like fastball, but it's still the best game in town as far as we're concerned. Right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
No, there was a great fastball league here in the '70s. There really was.
Yeah, and Red was always big on baseball. He always used to drag us over there.
Trying to recruit me. I played for a few years, but my love was still fastball.
Yes, it was. I'm going to swing back there.
He brought me here as a hockey player.
Yeah. Okay, Red, let's talk a little bit about the early years of baseball. Let's talk about the Polar League back there where you had that league going on.
Yeah, we had a very good league going. There was 7 teams in it at one time, and we'd play all on the weekends, 3 games. We'd go out on Friday after work, and we'd play 2 games on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. And it was a real good baseball league, and a lot of the boys that are still around here, I brought them in to play ball and hockey.
And what was it like in the early years compared to what it is today, Red? Like, a lot of things have changed. What's the biggest change have you noticed over the 40-plus years? What have you noticed?
Well, one of the biggest changes is in the early years, if you seen a light in a house, you could just walk in. The doors were never locked, and you're welcome to walk in anywhere. And in the early years, this rink was packed all the time after we got it up. We had figure skating starting at 5 in the morning, and then at 9 o'clock in the morning, we had shift league hockey, 6 teams. And there'd be 900 people in this rink at 9 o'clock in the morning watching that shift league. And then the afternoon, we had a little bit of small kids skating, and then At 3 o'clock again, we'd have figure skating. And then by 6 o'clock, we'd start the hockey, minor hockey. And the Hawks would practice. And there'd be maybe another team come out for a while. And then the underground had a 4-team league. And they would come at 1 o'clock and play till 3:30 or 4 in the morning. My wife had the concession, and it would never shut down.
Well, your wife was a big part of this rink as well. She done a lot for the community
Mary did.
as well.
Yeah, Mary did.
We can't forget Mary. She did quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mary Fensky was a big help to me. When I'd be out of town and that, Mary looked after the rec center. She was my secretary.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, she was really good. Yeah.
Well, we're going to go right over the Ron here. I don't know Shaw, my buddy Shaw guy there. Maybe he's getting a little bit tired holding the camera, but you know, you can go. He's doing a great job. We're going down memory lane here at the CA Nesbitt Arena with my guest Ron Mymko and Red Sangster, and we're just watching the game here. We're just reminiscing a little bit. Ronnie, what's some of the more memorable moments for yourself there?
Oh man, you know, I guess 1985 was kind of a thrill. I was playing old timers at the time, but the Thompson Hawks had brought the Montreal Old Pros here. Rocket Richard was reffing, I remember. Who else was in their lab? Normie Allman.
Yeah.
So they brought 5 of us ex-Hawks out just to be a part of the game.
Well, yeah.
There was like 5 lines, so it made it a little tough. But it was a thrill. Normie Allman was about 50 then, and I was a lot younger than him, and he won the first 3 draws. I remember that well. But I made sure in the next few that I got even with him.
I remember the story you told me. You went to Cross Lake, I think it was, or Norrie, and you and Guy Lafleur was on that road trip, and you outpointed him.
Well, I did. It was called the Rammer All-Stars, and they had an exhibition game lined up in Cross Lake. Dale DeMarco, who was the manager of the Hawks at 1.2, but he gave me a call at work on Monday. How'd you like, what are you doing Wednesday night? And I said, I have no real plans. He says, how'd you like to center Guy Lafleur and Steve Shutt? Dale, what are you talking about? Like, Dale wasn't one to pull a fast one, but it was true. It happened. 2 best guys I ever played with. So the year would be about 87, I guess, because Lafleur went back to the Rangers that following year. I didn't get offered a contract, but he did. Guy was a class act. He really was.
But you got an Inco pension. He didn't.
He doesn't need it though.
He doesn't need it. Red, anything else to add?
Yeah, in '71, the games were in Winnipeg. I remember when they canceled the games in Winnipeg, the World Hockey, because the NHL boys couldn't play there. And so I brought up the Terry O'Malley and them. What team did they play for? They played for the national team.
Okay.
Remember we brought them up?
Canadian national team, was it?
Yeah, the Canadian national team.
Okay.
That was in '71.
Okay.
And we filled the house here. We charged $10 a piece, no matter where
What year was that, Red? What year?
'71.
Oh my God, that was expensive back then.
Yeah. We flew them all up, and they spent the one night here, and met all the guys. And I took Terry O'Malley and one other of the players, and went to Inco, and met Johnny McCready.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
you got a park named after him now, John
yeah,
McCready Park.
yeah.
And Colleen Smook has that. Park
yeah.
now, yeah.
Yeah, and when we put the roof on this building here, right after New Year's, it was 50 below. We were up on the roof.
Oh my God.
Roy Bebo and myself and a few of the Malcolm workers.
Yeah.
And put that roof on.
Wow.
And she was cold up there, I'll tell you.
It's still cold here this winter.
Yeah. We built the rink and the rec hall the same years. We had the cranes in from Winnipeg for putting up the construction.
Now, when this rink came, Red, was it only supposed to be temporary? This is the question that's in everybody's mind. How long did they think this rink would be around? Did you know?
No, I really don't know, but it was a hangar, and we put on 25 feet on this end.
Oh, okay.
To make it long enough for the rink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the rumor was it was going to be a temporary rink and would have a new facility. Well, we're over 40 years, and we will have one by next November, or so they say.
So they say, yeah. And the minor hockey really went over. I forget what year it was. I brought Father Murray from Saskatchewan. He was a Ronnie. What was that? The Father Murray's. Yeah, he was from Notre Dame.
Okay.
I brought him in here, and I got a picture on that back wall there. We had 700 kids playing minor hockey.
Wow.
In 1975.
Wow. Well, we'll swing it over to Ron here for just a minute here as we wind her down here. One last word, Ron. Anything to add?
No, not really. Just
Can't wait for
there's,
the Mymko to start.
well, that, but there's a lot of fond memories. I got to bring
Yeah.
my camera here in the next day or two and just take a bunch of shots. And
Yeah.
the old Hawks dressing room, which is now the North Stars, is still the way it was 25 years ago. And I know where my stall was, so I'm going to go take a few shots of that baby too.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good idea. Maybe some
Take
other
a couple of whiffs in the room. And
and say sayonara. Okay, anything to add, Red, before we go?
No, I'd just like to say thanks for coming up here, and like Mary was a part of it. We all ate dinner sometimes at the workers here. She had 25 here for lunch.
Yeah.
And I remember the price of it was $1.
Yeah, $1.
$1, yeah. Yeah, yeah, we had some great times in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the times are, well, the memories will last a lifetime as the building will be going down here in the next couple of weeks. But it sure was great talking to you, Red. I want to thank you for coming up here and sharing some of your thoughts and memories with us.
If anybody wants to see some great pictures of the going on in the arena and the ballparks and that, I've got lots of them. They're welcome to come over and see them.
Okay. And before we go, I want to thank you, Ron, for coming up here and sharing your thoughts and your memories with us.
Thank you, Bruce.
It's been a great pleasure to have you both along here as we're going to be turning the lights down here in the CA Nesbitt Arena in a couple of weeks. And it's going to be sad, but yet it's going to be a happy time because it's been a long time waiting. And thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you at the Mymko.